Welcome back to the channel. This is episode 2 of Operation No Flamingo Legs. We are now exactly 8 weeks out from the half marathon. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Yeah, 8 weeks and 1 day. So tomorrow in 8 weeks, 17th of May. It's Saturday, 21st of March. So we're having the coffee, electrolytes as per usual, and bread and honey. And I'm going to be taking you through the full weekend, my training sessions. So today, Saturday is always my most important run day. So I'm going to be doing a tempo/threshold run. And this is actually going to be one of my first runs where I'm testing if I can hit my target half marathon pace of 4:29 for a longer segment. I started my prep back in February. It's March now. When I started my prep back in February, I started doing my race pace runs. So I started doing specific runs, intervals, even 4 or 5K segments at my target race pace from the get-go, and it was way too hard. I mean, you could say it was way too hard, or you could say I was just not anywhere near fit enough to run at the pace for a prolonged period of time. So now we're here, and we're going to have the carbs now first, the coffee, of course, very important, the hydration, and then we're going to head out. And this is the most important task you have to do before you go out for a run, is prep your oats. Done, as always. I have no footage of me running because when I take out my phone whilst I run, my heart rate spikes and I lose focus. And we don't want that when we're doing an important training session. So this was probably one of the best runs I've had in this training block. This is my post-run meal and my daily breakfast. So we're going to add whey protein. So I'm going to be adding 50 grams of protein now here. Double scooping. Double scooping, 1 scoop is for rookies. And since I consist of 80% whey protein and masa, or 80% protein, we're going to add 50 grams. 50 grams of whey, and then I'm contemplating, should I add some yogurt? Nah, let's leave it. Let's leave it. And then you need to mix it so it has the perfect consistency. Oh, I'm losing some of the gains here. Just the way. Catabolic running, it's gonna make me small and lose my muscle mass. So let's look at the running data from today. So today I ran the first 4K, so 1K warm up, easy. My HR was on a 123, so I was running that at a 5:30, HR 123. Then I was running the first 4K at a 4:50 pace. My heart rate was between 140 to 149, so still in zone 2, in the 140s, low 140s. And then I ran the next 4K at a 4:40 pace. My heart rate stayed between a 151 to a 157. And then for the final 4K, which is my race pace, where I actually averaged a 4:28 for these. My heart rate was between a 162 to a 167. So this is actually bang on where you would want to be. So my heart rate didn't even go into the 170s, whereas a couple of weeks ago when I was running at that pace, my heart rate went into the 175s, 180s, like I was totally maxed out. It was a complete suffering fest. And for me to stay in the mid 160s with my heart rate, which is essentially kind of like race pace effort for a half marathon, I would say, my pace was a lot slower. I would have been running at a 4:45 maybe even a 4:50. So I'm gonna go out now, get a wind down walk in post dinner, and get the rest of my steps done as well. So that's gonna bring me to 30k steps for the day. So obviously with the run, I'm doing 15k steps on top of that. Sunday morning, we had an insane night of sleep. My sleep stats are through the roof. So I got 8 hours in, 99 sleep score, body battery 100 this morning, and my resting heart rate overnight was on 40. I don't think I've ever had that on a Saturday, because usually when I do my harder runs, so Tuesday and Saturday, I do feel my resting heart rate is slightly elevated overnight, and I just feel a bit more fatigued, and the recovery is a touch below the usual normal. So we are 3k in, running around a 5:30 pace, and my heart rate staying in the low 120s. 10k done. So this was just really a chill recovery jog. This is usually my rest day, but I think I've mentioned this earlier, I train 7 days a week at the moment. I will take a rest day as and when needed, but my Sunday run is basically just a very easy active recovery 10k. So as you can see, I ran this one 45 to 60 seconds slower than yesterday. So my pace on this run today was hovering around 5:30ish, 5:45, 5:40, and then I came in at an average of 5:33. So a lot slower than yesterday, and this would be my next point. I'm going to do a quick summary at the end of this YouTube as to what I think are the most important things that I've done and that I would do to really improve my fitness, my speed, and my overall performance. We're getting another bowl in. Post-run, same as yesterday, 50 grams of oats, 50 grams of whey protein, and then the only change I made is I added a banana and honey to get some extra carbs in. So I was planning to do this on my DJI, with the microphone and everything, but given I'm out walking now and getting my steps done, I like to be efficient. So the 4 major things that I would say for anyone who wants to improve their running, or maybe you have an event coming up or that's something you are considering doing. So the first thing that I would say is getting more volume in. If you want to get better at running, obviously doing more of it will help you. So this is what specifically I've done over the last couple of weeks. Within this half marathon prep, I pretty much increased my volume by 50% compared to what I was doing in the previous month. Depending on what your experience is with running, there is a rule that says, don't increase the volume more than 10% a week. I think that is true if you are a beginner, but if you have training experience, if you have a history of having no injuries, done consistent training, then you can pretty much ignore that, I would say. Now, obviously, not being stupid is important. So doing more volume within a structured approach of training. It has a proper strategy behind it. Doing more will definitely help. So that's number one. And then the second point I would say is progressively building towards pace, knowing what types of runs you're doing and what the purpose is. So this is a big change I've made. Now, obviously before, if you've been following my prep or my YouTubes, I was trying to jump straight into race pace volume from the start, or race pace targets, and it was just way too hard. So what I've done over the last couple of weeks is just building in more tempo runs and runs at my true threshold, which had dropped previously, so I became a slow turtle. So I had to build that back up and become a gazelle again. I may. We will, fingers crossed, smash out a PB. I mean, not fingers crossed, obviously, do the work. Fingers crossed, yeah, fingers crossed, no shit's happening on the day. So the third point, I would say, is time in the game. So how long have you been running? And how consistently, most importantly, have you been running? So for me, I've been running, I'd say since 2020, I would say. But obviously in the first couple of years, I wasn't properly following any structured programming. I was just running, basically. I'd say I've taken my running properly seriously and really pushing performance, pushing progress consistently for the last 2 years. I did my first event, which was a full marathon in 2022, where I started running way more and also following a proper prep for the first time and structured running. Then I did a full Ironman in 2023, which again involved a lot of running and doing big volumes of training and following like structured training. And then for the last 2 years, I've done loads of other running events. And then the final point, this is number 4, is just being very consistent with everything outside of training. Just the standards and consistency around nutrition, recovery, sleep. I'd say in this prep so far, I have dialed in everything even more when it comes to my food quality, consistency with macros, my physique, my sleep as well. It's not any drastic changes. It's more so small things that I've been constantly improving with my sleep, moving my sleep duration to 8 hours instead of getting 7:40, 7:45, 7:13. This might not sound a lot, but if you accumulate this over the weeks and the months, it makes a big difference, and that will obviously have a big impact on your recovery, your performance. I wouldn't even just say on performance, it will also have a huge impact on if you're trying to progress your physique. So if you have a fat loss goal or building muscle. With that as well, my physique is in the best spot it's ever been in. I am quite a heavy runner, especially for a female, so my body weight's currently sitting between 73 to 74 kg, so my goal is to bring that down closer to 70 kg for the half. So these are the 4 major points, and this brings me to the next thing. Like sometimes I speak to people who inquire for coaching, or I've even had clients in the past come on board and they will say things like, oh, my nutrition is fine, it's my training, or actually my training is fine, it's just my nutrition. And the answer to that is always the same: no, it's all of it. Like, it's all of it, because it all goes together. That's the end of this video. I'm gonna go now and probably get a massage, because the machine needs to be maintained for another big week of training. So this is gonna be my peak week in block 1, and we're gonna do a big race pace test next Saturday.